we had a real, kind of close person to us that we kind of admire from afar say some troubling things about purchasing a house, right? He was describing like, oh, that was the worst financial investment that he ever made, right? Worst financial investment for him, right? And that's what he referenced. You have to consider, just because he's saying that was the worst decision he made, he had so much problems with purchasing because of permits and different things. He was trying to build a multi-million-dollar custom home. If you're not trying to do that, you ain't even have to worry about pulling permits and doing things to that type of level. Those are kind of rich people problems that he's talking about right there, which I wouldn't be mad to have those type of problems. All I'm trying to get you guys to understand is you have to really be careful of who you're listening to and why they're stating what they're saying. Hello and welcome to the Prepare to Compete podcast, where we talk all things VA benefits, real estate, entrepreneurship, and more. Kenneth Davis, how you feeling today, my brother?
Man, I'm wonderful. Just really excited to be on the #1 show for veterans, and also making sure that we're able to speak to the masses in pretty much all spaces.
Absolutely, man. Education is what we do. We really appreciate all the support and everyone for watching. Continue to like, subscribe, and go ahead and let us know where you're watching from, right? We want to kind of get a feel of who's watching this content and how you're enjoying it. So definitely feel free to let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, true indeed. And also make sure, obviously, if you have any questions too, we always want to make sure that we're able to, again, touch the people. We always want to answer questions, always want to make sure that we're able to assist in any type of way, because at the end of the day, not only do we educate, we serve first. So please go ahead and send them in. We'll make sure that we get back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So today we're getting into that illustrious real estate topic, right? And, there's a lot of individuals online that's spewing all kind of different things, right? And, one of the things we want to get into today is that one of the questions people ask is now a good time to buy a home, right? And, you have certain gurus, Grant Cardone and others that are just saying, no, don't buy a home, right? And we really want to educate our veteran community on really taking advantage of that VA loan and the fact that you can utilize that more than once, and not really being fearful of home ownership, but really educating themselves on the possibility.
I think you hit a real key point there. It's fearful, right? Being fearful of the unknown. And a lot of times when you're talking about military, and I'm not saying all military, I wouldn't have the actual exact percentages, but I can almost assure you a lot of the military are first-time home buyers. So with being first-time home buyers, there's a lot of fear crossing that pathway. So I think you hit the nail on the head when you spoke about fearfulness.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, Kenneth, so let's say we're talking and we're speaking with some veterans and somebody asks you, is now a good time to buy a home? How would you actually address answering that question for them?
I personally would say anytime is the time to buy a home. Anytime is the right time to buy a home. It's not about the time to buy a home. It's about what price you buy the home at, what type of condition is the home in, and also what does the financing look like. Outside of that, if you can go to connect the dots on all those points there, I think, again, home ownership is always key. I think a lot of times it's very equivalent to the stock market and investing market. Everyone asks, when should I buy a stock, or what stock should I buy? Or it's just like, I guess, the home, right? What home should I buy? Where should I buy? When should I buy? Well, it's all about pricing, and financials, that's the key. So anytime is the time to buy. It's just if you're buying smart.
Definitely. And that's a real good key point. And I would kind of answer that question very similar and really just kind of get down to the root of what your financial position is, right? Looking at your own financial position, looking at, do you have the savings, right? Are you in a position where you have stable employment or stable income? If you're a first-time home buyer and, you're looking to purchase a house, you might be an entrepreneur and it could be up in the air, right, on your income streams, right? Do you plan on being in that city long-term, right? All of those different factors are gonna influence your individual decisions. So when you ask a question of, is it a good time to buy? It's like, I don't know. Is it for you? Right. I don't know what your bank account looks like. I don't know what your life goals are for the next 5 years. Tell me that, and then I can kind of reassess the situation at that time.
True indeed. It's kind of a loaded question, and if an agent or a loan officer or anyone that is in the real estate industry is telling you, you know what, giving you a definitive answer without understanding the variables, I can go ahead and yield to perceive. We probably want to kind of steer in a different direction, right? Just because these variables are important, all the way down to what loan product that you're using. Not only that, what type of buyer are you? Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you an investor? Are you looking for a property for a family member? It's just so many different variables that you want to make sure that you're covering before making the decision.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. And just, you're listening to these different gurus, right? And everybody has their own agenda on why they're telling you certain information. Yeah. You're listening to Grant Cardone, for example, and he has a very large and successful real estate fund, right? And he is a strong investor in apartment complexes and big planned unit development communities and things of that nature. And he doesn't want you to own where you live, which, I'll get into why that doesn't make sense. But when you think about it, maybe that's not the situation for him. And maybe he can go and pay rent for the rest of his life, right? And that's totally fine for him. He's also almost a billionaire, right? So you gotta assess and look at who's giving advice, why they're giving advice, and is your situation the same as theirs, right? Because if he's a multi-millionaire, dude got hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So his life plan on why he's trying to do something and why it's not a good idea in his estimation is going to be a lot different from the reasons why you should or should not at this current time period.
True indeed. And one thing I would say as well, what is the why, right? Why are you into this business? Why are you into real estate? Why are you into filming? Why are you into, again, anything? You always want the why to be for you and your family. And at least it kind of have some type of inclusion on the same values. And if so, at that point, then you know that you can kind of connect the dots with that person, because ultimately you want someone to treat your purchase as it's their own.
And, I know you didn't want to get into it as much today, Kenneth, man, but, we had a real, kind of close person to us that we kind of admire from afar say some troubling things about purchasing a house, right? As far as like with the Earn Your Leisure platform, and, Rashad kind of had a situation with his home where he was describing like, oh, that was the worst financial investment that he ever made, right? And to the point that I just made talking about the whole Grant Cardone thing, right? That was the worst financial investment for him, right? And that's what he referenced, more or less. So you have to consider, just because he's saying that was the worst decision he made, he had so much problems with purchasing because of permits and different things. He was trying to build a multi-million-dollar custom home. If you're not trying to do that, you ain't even have to worry about pulling permits and doing things to that type of level. Those are kind of rich people problems that he's talking about right there, which I wouldn't be mad to have those type of problems. All I'm trying to get you guys to understand is you have to really be careful of who you're listening to and why they're stating what they're saying. If you're not in that tax bracket, those rules do not apply to you. Don't listen to them.
True indeed. And again, we love Earn Your Leisure, Rashad and Troy. We love you guys. We really admire your platform for sure. But I will say this: we have to be very careful when we're on these platforms. We have a responsibility and due diligence to make sure the aspect of information is delivered, appropriately. And that doesn't mean that he did not do so. But I think sometimes we have so many outlets, we have so many platforms, people do so much that unfortunately it's not translated well, right? It's not translated well on screen, and how someone is being able to perceive you. And also a lot of inspiring entrepreneurs, kids, and even, adults ourselves, we admire and we love the information that you guys are doing, putting out there, but be very cautious of the reception that other people will take in, because again, home ownership, we all know, is the cornerstone of wealth, right? I don't think I've ever met with a financially astute person that does not own a property. Right. So again, these problems aren't necessarily going to be your problems. Whether if it's your first home, second home, third home, we are all not in the same level of economics. So with that being said, if your financial strategy is to basically get to a point where you're trying to be on an upward trajectory and get that first home, get that second home, get your rental property or anything of that nature, those problems that he's having is probably not going to be the problems that you're going to have. We're more or less, you're more or less, again, if you're in that position, you're more or less going to be worried about getting a loan approved, right? That's the first thing. Let's get our loan approved first. So if we can do that, at that point, everything else will go. Right?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely so. And because when we're thinking about home ownership, and why I kind of stress it so much, is that you cannot afford to pay, a mortgage or let alone rent while you're retired, right? So, the whole vision of the 30-year mortgage is that you purchase a home in your 30s. Well, by the time you get to your 60s, the home is paid off and you got that line item out of your budget, right? So that's kind of the goal of home ownership. Obviously, everybody's life isn't as cookie cutter and working that way, right? So obviously you might be in your 30s, you might be in your 40s and just starting to purchase a home, which that's okay. It's never too late to start, but don't let someone convince you not to start.
Yeah, because again, hearing something like that could automatically deter me, because most people are not educated enough in the real estate world to know that that's not what he meant. I know that, right? But everyone doesn't know that. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're teetering the line if you want to buy a home or not, and you see these 6% interest rates, 7% interest rates, and you're kind of going back and forth trying to make the decision, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have enough skin in the game nor experience to decipher the message that he put out. Absolutely. So it's very kind of a very fine line to toe. So, but again, like I said before, we really, again, enjoy you guys, and very inspiring, to be honest with you. So at the end of the day, man, we always want to make sure that the responsibilities that we carry on these platforms are making sure that our audiences are well taken care of. And that goes in to say, even the veteran community, right? We talk about, home ownership, but just like you mentioned, you cannot afford to be able to take care of yourself and pay a mortgage at the age when retirement comes. For the most part, again, the military has gotten away with the retirement program, which we'll get more into in later in depth in other episodes. However, I'll tell you, you're not the one being able to retire for 20 years and then carry over and receive a retirement check for the rest of your life. That's not happening anymore. The military is making you responsible to carry over and make deposits for your life goals and your retirement. So how are you going to do that if you haven't started early? Absolutely. How are you going to do that and be financially sound if you haven't bought a home early? We know time is the greatest proponent of investing. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is make sure that you guys are having the information, but not only having the information, but getting education from subject matter experts like myself and also Mr. Jones.
Absolutely, man. One of the things they're not making more is they're not building no more land, right? They're not building land, and they slow down on building houses. So, and of course, we hear it in the news all the time. BlackRock, all these different hedge funds purchasing real estate now. So the opportunity that you think you have to wait may not be there in the future, right? So this is why you really need to take advantage of the opportunity as soon as you can. I mean, even we could kind of attest to it with different individuals we know, whether friend, family, or associates who were in a position to purchase a home during COVID. And, unfortunately, money was high. Everybody was living high on the hog during that time, right? And, afterwards, companies start getting a little bit more lean, different things like that. They lost their jobs, and now they're no longer in a position to purchase a home, right? And it's like, well, if I was going to lose my job, that's why I didn't want to. That's why I was scared to purchase a home. You have to really think about it. You're going to have to live somewhere anyway, right? And if you own a home, guess what happens when you own a home and you don't pay your mortgage for 1 month? It goes on your credit. That's it. They just ding your credit, right? Ain't nobody knocking at your door month one trying to kick you out of that place. But guess what happens when you are renting my home that I own and you're late on that rent? I'm knocking at your door on day 6, like, hey, where's the rent at, right? When am I going to get that from you, right? And after a while, you're going to be evicted, right? And that process in some states is going to vary, right? California, very relaxed with that. But in Nevada and a lot of other places, and even if California being relaxed, you're still eventually going to get evicted, right? As far as the foreclosure process, and especially for veterans, they're going to try to do whatever they can to keep you in that home. Let's say you have a problem where you lost your job and you were down just for a couple months, right? They'll do a loan modification for you. And those payments that you were behind, they'll put that at the back of the loan. You don't even have to worry about that. It's at the back of the loan. Let's just start fresh. You don't have that opportunity when you're renting a property. You don't have the opportunity to build equity. So these are all the reasons, right, that we're saying buy a home. I'm not just saying that because I'm a realtor. Most of you guys aren't in Las Vegas. You're not going to buy a house from me anyway. So I'm saying this because I really believe in it, and I want to see everyone here listening to this platform be successful.
Yeah, and just because you don't necessarily have to buy a home from us, the thing is that what we're going to do is point you in the right direction and with great vetted real estate professionals, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now that these professionals, I will go to bat for them. So I'll tell you right now that those people are going to make sure that you're going to be well taken care of. So again, we'll definitely put you in the right direction with the right people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have wonderful connections all over the country, and definitely we want to help you. And we do what we can to make sure that anybody that comes through Veterans for Veterans directly or any military service member or veteran is going to be well educated on their decisions. And we're going to provide that education and refer you out to whoever can help you in that local area.
Yeah, and extremely, like I said, strict criteria amongst any type of professionals that we partner with. So, but I do want to go ahead and touch on something that you kind of really kind of spoke about there. It was the aspect of having a veteran tag, right, and having that a part of who you are. I want to tell you guys that is something that you've done in your life. That is something that's honored by this country. That's something that's honored by others around you, and also honored by different businesses and corporations that you may work with. So having these benefits and advantages, such as a specific or valued loan modification or extension of certain things because you are a veteran or active duty member, or even, again, a reservist, right? Understand that that is offered to you because the sacrifices that you made for this country. So with that being said, make sure when you carry yourself over to the bank to ask for some type of loan modification, then God forbid that's happening to you or your family, But if you are in that position of an ask, please make sure you let them know of your veteran status. All right, because it's very important, because you may have additional access to other benefits that you may not know. I've spoke with many veterans who have the opportunity to do loan modifications and also not only loan modifications, but during the era of COVID, there was a lot of veterans who were in potentially almost a loss of home because of illnesses, right? So being back and not having able to make those payments, there are many lenders that said, no problem. We'll give you 6 months to catch up. We'll give you a year to catch up. We're going to put it at the back of the loan. Don't worry about it. We understand what's going on in the world today. So again, you're a veteran, so we're never going to foreclose on you.
Right. Wow.
So when you talk about different benefits like that, make sure you really wear your veteran tag high and stride. Okay.
Definitely, man, definitely. So definitely want to lead the people with that. And we also want to let you know that we have a wealth of information on this platform in terms of real estate education, specifically designed for veterans, whether you're looking to maximize your VA loan for the first time, or you've been looking to assume a VA loan and learn about how that process works and everything. Go ahead. I'll actually leave the link to that whole entire playlist. It's a myriad of videos there for you. So go ahead and check that out.
Yes, yes. Listen, thank you guys for tuning in to the #1 Veteran Podcast. We are going to see you soon. With that being said, we're out.
Prepare to compete. Peace.